Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our informational webinar about CPUC CASF funding opportunities. This is our agenda for today. We'll do a welcome and introduction of our team, and then the majority of the time we will spend on going over the grant and applications, and then we will go over how digitalLIFT can support you and then the next steps. Okay. So in case you don't know digitalLIFT, some of you, I know that we have been working for quite some time, but just in case you're new, we are called digitalLIFT, formerly known as Community Tech Network or CTN. We are a nonprofit, have an office in San Francisco. We are 17, if I do my math right, or no, 18 years old. We established in 2008. We serve learners directly or through our partners in 8 out of the 9 Bay Area counties. The one that we're trying to get to is Napa. So I don't know if any of you from Napa counties, but hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to bring our programs to the Napa County as well. Our mission is to strengthen communities by providing essential tech training and resources. And by doing that, we hope to have a world where communities thrive through the use of technology. So digitalLIFT provide trainings to the communities, to the partners as well, help them enjoy the benefits of using technology. We have a small California program management team. Myself is the Associate Director of Programs, and I oversee all the in-person and virtual programs in California. And here with me is my colleague, Audrey Potts, and she's our program manager, and she's based in San Francisco, so most of her programs are in San Francisco. We also have Cassie. She's not able to join us today, but she is our program coordinator, and she helped us with our programs in the East Bay as well as Solano. So let me maybe move this bar if it's blocking. So the CPUC, California Public Utilities Commission, provide funding to bridge digital divide in unserved and underserved communities. So you may have heard of this funding before. It's called California Advanced Services Fund, or CASF. They fund both infrastructure projects. So if your facility don't have Wi-Fi available, then you can request or apply for funding for your infrastructure projects. And they have do this since 2008. And then in 2015, they started to fund adoption, meaning to provide the device and the training to the communities as well. So they called it the Broadband Adoption Account, which provide the access, device, and training. And in fiscal year 2025 to 2026, so starting July 1st, 2025, they have available $30 million for this program, for this account. And they have a semi-annual application cycle. So the next upcoming deadline to apply is 2026, January 1st, so just a couple months away. And the next one will be 2026, July 1st, and so on. So every 6 months, they're accepting new applications. So just to clarify, digitalLIFT is not the funder. CPUC is, but digitalLIFT has worked with these projects since 2015, the very first time that they provide the adoption projects. So we have a lot of experience with the grant, and I think started a couple of years ago, we have been helping other nonprofits or agencies to apply for the grant and then collaborate for these programs. So this year we're doing the same thing. hope to help you with your applications and collaborate with your programs. Okay, so this is the broadband adoption account. For eligible project types, again, broadband access. So that is to provide a public Wi-Fi, public broadband access to your community. For example, if you are a community center and if you want to provide broadband access, like free Wi-Fi access at your location and for the public, you can apply for a grant for that. But for today, we're focusing on digital literacy projects, meaning you provide the training and devices to your community. So in order for the learner to receive a device, they have to complete 8 hours of training to each participant. It can be done through group classes, one-on-one tutoring, or self-paced instruction. If the learner completed 8 hours, they can receive a take-home device if it is included in your budget as well. Or the devices can also be stay in the classroom. So you will use it you can use the funding to build, let's say, a computer lab at your affordable housing location, and then the training can be held in the classroom. Okay, so this is what the budget may look like, some of the budget considerations. So the CPUC group have 2 big buckets for the budget. One is for the devices, another one is for the program implementation. For the devices, as I mentioned on the previous slide, they can fund 2 types of devices. One to take home, another one's for the in-classroom or the computer lab. For the take home, the maximum amount they will fund is $300 each, and for $40,000 per project maximum. And they also fund maximum of 2 devices per household. So if there is a 3rd person in the same household who want to participate in the program, they can attend the training, receive the digital literacy training. However, they won't be able to receive a 3rd devices. Also, only low-income participants who are qualified for these benefits programs are the devices given to them will be reimbursable. If your program provide the devices to non-low-income participants, it will have to be funded differently, not by the CPUC. Smartphones are not eligible. Only devices like laptops, Chromebooks, iPads, Android tablets, those are eligible devices. For in-classroom devices, maximum for each unit is $700 for reimbursement, or maximum of $11,250 per project. Noctest software is a separate expense. These are the budget for the devices. And the second piece in the middle is the program implementation. The program fund outreach, the curriculum development for instruction, as well as some other program-related costs, such as transportation and maybe handouts printing. All those are covered cost. And they will also, CPUC also cover up to 15% of the administrative cost. Now here it says $477 per participant. This is if you are requesting a reimbursement of $477 per participant or less, then you will be eligible for what they call a ministerial review or expedited review. Otherwise, if your cost per learners is more than that, or if you're requesting for reimbursement for an amount that is higher than this, it doesn't mean that they won't approve it. You will just have to justify why the cost is higher. Perhaps it can be your population, your target populations, they can only do one-on-one training, not in group classes. So that will make your cost higher. So just an example. And then it would just take a longer time for them to review and approve your proposal. Doesn't mean that they won't approve it, just take longer, and they may require you to justify the cost. So combining the devices and the program implementation, that will give you the total program cost. For CPUC, they will reimburse up to 85% of the total program cost. The remaining 15% have to be self-funded or from other sources. In addition, up to your program, if it is the total cost is less than or equal to 150K, then you will be eligible for the ministerial or expedited review. Another thing to note is that transportation and mileage expense can only be up to 10% of the grant amount. So these are all the budget considerations. Here is more requirement to be qualified for the ministerial expedited review. So besides the total grant amount, the nonprofit organization has to be existed for more than a year. The applicant has at least 1 year of experience conducting a digital literacy training or broadband access project, or they have completed at least one such programs. The applicant has designated in-person or virtual space for trainings, or if you don't have that space identified yet, provide detailed information how the space will be obtained. We mentioned about the 477 per participant or less, and that amount is exclusive of the in-person or take-home computer. So the 477 is just for the implementation portion of it. Okay, and then next two notes is about the broadband access, and then for the call center, which is not our focus for today, so I'll skip that. Now, this is the application components, the package. The application itself is an Excel workbook, which I'm going to show you in a minute. There are mainly two tabs on the workbook. And then also project work plans is required. They have provided a template, so I'm going to show you the template provided by CPUC as well. Then there are 5 attachments required. Cover letter. The second one is the curriculum and outreach materials. If you partner with digitalLIFT, we can provide samples for the curriculum and the outreach materials. Third is optional but recommended is to provide endorsements from the community, or if you have your targeted learners, participants, write a letter of support, or you have other partner agencies who write a letter of support for you. That is always helpful. And then the fourth item is IRS nonprofit tax exempt ruling. So it's a letter saying that you're proving that you're a nonprofit. And the fifth item is a notarized affidavit. CPUC provided a template and is a link to the templates. After the presentation, I'm going to share with you all this slide deck, so you will be able to download the application package, all of these the templates. And CPUC also provide the application instructions like a manual and the FAQ to this program. So everything is also downloadable from the CPUC CASF website. So if you Google CPUC CASF program, then you'll be able to find that website. But no worries, I'm going to share this slide deck with you anyways. So let me actually get out of this presentation and do a really quick walkthrough of the application with you. I have it here. And then I may need to make it bigger for people to see. Let's try this. So there are two tabs, as I mentioned, of the workbook. First tab is the applicant information, so your organization information and contact information. And then the second tab is the project information. So the top is again your organization information and then where the classes will be located, the communities to be served, some demographics of the people that's going to be served. Are they low income? What languages do they speak? Is it in a rural area? So all of these considerations. Where the training is going to take place, is it going to be physical location, virtual, what kind of curriculum you're going to use, what kind of outreach activities you're going to conduct, what are the instructional activities, how are the classes to be are structured. So all of this information about your program planning. Broadband subscription. So this one is only required if you are going to help your community not only train them to use the devices or technology, but also help them subscribe to broadband. But if you're a digital literacy program only, then this is not required. Okay, and then if you keep scrolling down, you will see then the budgets. So first part, the top part is for the devices, in classroom devices and take-home devices, as well as hotspot. It is only allowed if your building or in the classroom doesn't have existing Wi-Fi for you to conduct the classes. So it is not hotspot to be given to your participants. This is only for use in the classroom. Okay, keep going, then it will be your implementation cost. That include all the staff's cost, and then travel and other supplies, etc. Administrative cost, which is no more than 15% of the grant request. Okay, so these are all the budget items. And then I want to point your attention to these columns on the right. So you have one column for the total cost. Another column is how much per item that you're requesting for the grant to reimburse. Another column is for the match. Remember what the grant required you to match 15% of the total of program cost. It can be done to 15% by line items, but it can also be, let's say you are requesting for the reimbursement for all of the devices, so 100% reimbursing for the devices, but you may be using your administrative cost for the 15% match. So yeah, whatever your total program cost, you can do that. You can use this 50% cost for the reimbursement. One thing to note is we learned it the hard way is that for the line items that when you request, if you request it only as a match, not a reimbursable line item, once you start the program or once it's approved, you won't be able to make adjustments after. So you will be able to make adjustment to between line items only if you put any dollar amount in the grant request. So if you requested like for administrative, if you only using it for the match and not put an amount in the grant, you won't be able to make adjustment to that after. Okay, so this is a key thing to consider. So some of our partners, they will just do a straight 15% match for each line item. Okay, I hope this is helpful. Let me go back to this also. I want to quickly go over this work plan templates. So they have one, the PUC provided one for ramp up and then another one for the implementation. I'll tell you a little bit more about these two things, but they have just examples, some major milestones for the work plan. You will fill it out accordingly to your program, and then you can add more line items for your plan. So this is just an example that they provide. Okay, going back to the presentation, I think, yeah, this is the slide that I want to show for the project timeline. So as I mentioned, the next deadline is January 1st, 2026. So let's say we are able to submit our application on that date or before that date. Then it will take the CPUC 2 to 3 months or a little bit more sometimes to review your application. And during the review process, they may come to you and ask for more supporting documents or clarify your application. So we expect emails from them during this Q1, I would say. And then sometime in Q2 2026, you will be notified if your program is accepted or not, if your proposal is accepted or not. And then once you accepted the award, you have up to 6 months to do your program ramp up. And it's up to 6 months, so it can definitely be a shorter time if you are very experienced with digital literacy program. And if you have all your partners lined up already, then sometimes it can take less than 6 months to prepare for the program launch. And so, but it is up to 6 months. After the 6 months ramp up, you will be able to submit, or actually you are required to submit a ramp up report. And then if you want to submit your invoices for reimbursement, you can do that at that time as well. Usually it will take 1 to 2 months for CPUC to approve your reimbursement request and for you to receive the reimbursement check. Okay, after the ramp up, you will go into the 2 years, up to 2 years program delivery phase. So all your training will take place within that 2 years period of time. And at the year 1, in the middle point, you will submit a progress report. Again, if you are having invoices and you want to request for reimbursement, you will be able to do that after you submit the year 1 report. And another reimbursement request opportunity is when you complete the program, so at the end of the year 2. At that time, you will also submit the final report. So this is the longest program duration. If your program only run for 1 year, that is totally acceptable, and you will still have to do the 3 reports. So a ramp-up report and then a midterm report. So maybe at the 6th month midpoint, and then at the end of the program. And then you will still have the 3 opportunities to receive the reimbursement. So if you are doing a shorter program, your reimbursement turnover is like shorter. If you run a longer program, then you notice that you have like 1 year where you will just have to spend and then wait for the first year or the midpoint of your program to get the second reimbursement. The first reimbursement is after the ramp up. Okay, I hope this is clear. And also please note that this is a performance-based reimbursement. So whatever you say in your program application or proposal, let's say you say that you're going to train 100 people. And if only half of them finish the 8 hours of training, you will only be able to receive 50% of the cost. If you train 75% or 75 learners out of the 100, you will be reimbursed for that 75% of the program cost. So just to be clear on that. So sometimes I will recommend our partners to prepare for some learners that won't be able to complete the 8 hours of training. Some of them may, drop out because of health issues or for whatever reasons. So if you're targeting 100, maybe you want 100 completes or graduates, maybe you want to budget for a little bit more of that. Next slide. So I've gone through a lot of the program requirements, the budget requirements or considerations, how digitalLIFT can support our partners like you. First, we provide training for the learners. We provide both in-person training and virtual training. And the in-person training can be like drop-in support, workshops, or structured group classes. Usually we structured our group classes as 2 hours and 4 meetings, that to add up to the 8 hours of training. For virtual, we can do one-on-one. We also provide remote classes, the same 2 hours and 4 times structure. We also provide what we call the Q&A or text advice sections. We also host webinars from time to time. So these are all the trainings for the learners. Our trainers are, most of our trainers are bilingual. We have trainers that support English, of course, but then Spanish, Cantonese, Mandarin, Russian, Korean, Tagalog. I think these are the languages we have right now. If it is a language that we don't support currently, we can hire contractors to help with supporting. And we also provide training for trainers and the program managers. If your organizations don't have experience with digital literacy program, we can help you build one. And if you have a staff member or a volunteer who want to be the trainers themselves instead of having digitalLIFT trainers to work with your community, that's fine. Also, there's many ways that we can collaborate. So if you're only looking for training for trainers or training for program managers, we can provide that as well. So we can help with our training for trainers or training for program managers include like how to do the intake, how to do the needs assessment, how to help your community, connect to the internet, even like device, how to, pick the device that best for your community, how to configure them to before classes, make the training much easier. And also train the trainer. We provide adult learning and training techniques, how to train the effective way to train and to work with your community. And also another big piece is that we have a lot of different curriculums developed over the past 15 years of our work. So you don't really have to reinvent the wheels. You don't have to create your own curriculum. We have licensable, very affordable curriculum. Some are actually free from our website, like internet safety. I think we have like a very solid curriculum for internet safety so that you can download from our website. But others, we have created curriculums for Windows laptop, Chromebook, Android tablet, and iPad available in multiple languages. So feel free to explore our curriculum library on our website. And we also provide support, partnering with us, also provide support with the application writing as well as report writing. Okay, let's see. And these are some of our long-term partners who we partner with for these CPUC programs, include a Center of Elders Independence, EH Housing, and then Public Library. So this is what they say. I'm gonna skip over this and let's see. So if you are considering to apply for this grant, the upcoming deadline, January 1st, is a little bit tight, but we can still make it if you want to start planning and talking to your upper management how we can apply for the grant together. If that is too tight of a timeline because Thanksgiving and holidays coming up, we can always work towards the July 1st deadline for next year. So some tips, you really have to understand all the limitations, requirements of the grants. So hopefully this webinar helps you with that. And then just be strategic and mindful of the number of clients to be served. As I mentioned, this is a reimbursable, performance-based reimbursement grant. So CPUC will only reimburse for the learners that complete 8 hours of training. If they only completed 7 hours, they're not going to reimburse it. And then set clear expectations on the program objectives and team responsibilities. So who's going to do the outreach, who is going to do the training, who's going to do all this documentation, evaluation, and then for the report. Again, digitalLIFT is here to help or assist our partners to do all of this. We also have what we call a organizational diagnostic needs assessment. So if you're not sure what are the support that you may need, we can provide you with this assessment. And it's like a quick survey that you can fill out. And we can go from there how to discuss how digitalLIFT can better support you. And that's all I have prepared for today. And here's my email. So you can reach out if you have any questions about the grant and our experience in terms of the grant writing. Also, if you want to schedule a call with me, let me move this up, and to go over your specific questions about your application or how to design for the program, feel free to use this QR code to schedule a call with me in the next few weeks. I'm happy to get on a call and talk with you. Okay, let's skip care for a moment and see if any of you have questions.
If you have any questions, you can drop it into the chat or raise your hand and I will call on you.
I see hands up, Vicky. Please unmute and ask your questions.
It sounds like you provide a whole lot of help even in putting together the application.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I was saying, it sounds like you folks actually help us put together the application. Wow,
yes,
wonderful.
if we partner, like if you want to have our provided training for your learners or provide training for your trainers or program management, yes, we can help you with the application. And also, I'm just happy to, if you do not want to partner, I'm still happy to go over your application before you submit it. Just have, an extra pair of eyes for your application because I've done many of those applications myself.
Okay.
I know what they're looking for, so I'm happy to share some tips.
So partnering with you, does that involve having you folks teach the class? Or can our staff teach the class?
Yeah, so there's different ways that we can collaborate. So we can teach the classes for you, or we can teach your team to teach the classes. So
Okay.
yeah, we provide different ways of collaboration.
And how does that impact the grant? Would we wouldn't be applying for funds for teachers then, right? Or for who would teach the class? That would be provided in kind from you folks?
So it will be, so we will list this as a line item on the budget. So yeah, how much of that will be getting reimbursement from the grant, or how much will be under the match column.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
We have next Princey has your hand up and you're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, hi. Thank
Hi.
you for such a wonderful info session.
Mhm.
I'm just curious to know about, like, for example, at Catholic Charities, we are already providing some digital literacy classes to our elderly community members.
Mhm.
But for example, if we want to apply for this grant in collaboration with digitalLIFT. So digitalLIFT can provide us like the whole curriculum, trainer or facilitator and everything. And we should incorporate digitalLIFT cost in our grant budget. Is that the case?
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. So
Okay.
incorporate as one, write this as one of the line item.
Uh-huh. Okay. That makes sense. And this 8-hour training program, it um like the duration of finishing this program is 2 years or per client, or is something different?
Yeah, so it is up to 2 years for the training, and before you launch the program, there is a 6 months ramp up period. So the entire program, it can last for 2.5 years at
Okay.
maximum.
So
But
one
yeah,
candidate have two and a half years
yes,
total time spent to finish that 8-hour training.
yes,
Okay, and that will be certified as he finished the whole curriculum or training program.
correct.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
And during the ramp up period, like for example, from the period we accepted the grant to ramp up period, like the CPUC will give us like some advance budget, or we have to first invest during the ramp up period and then ask for reimbursement.
Yeah, I wish they can give us like a starting fund to prepare for the program, but this is a purely reimbursement grant, so you always have
Okay.
to spend first and then get reimbursement. So this is giving a lot of small nonprofit like ourselves some cash flow issues.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that we have to consider. You have to consider because
Okay. And
spend
in
and
terms of matching 15%
Mhm.
with every line item, so we can just say like, okay, we will match 15% through our other sources, or we also need to mention like that source in the application.
I think one of the item that on the application it asked for that, like what are other fundings that you may be using. So it could be like your existing operating budget. It can be another grant that you're applying, so you can
Mhm. Okay.
mention it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a question in the chat from LK, which I think is Laura Kate here. Hi, Laura. She's asking, is the entire grant program for low-income participants, or is it just for device reimbursement that participants need to be low income?
Great question. It's just for the devices. That if you are giving the devices out for the learner to keep, the learner must be low income for CPUC to reimburse you. But any income level participants, they can receive the training and you get reimbursed for that training.
Great, great question.
Mhm.
That is all the questions that I see in the chat. Does anyone else have any
I just
questions?
quick one more question, like
Uh-huh.
for in terms of giving these devices to the low income communities. So
Mhm.
we are supposed to take back those devices after 2 years, or we will just give them to use
Mhm.
forever.
The devices is for the participants to keep for good.
Keep.
You don't take that back, but it's just your choice also. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
want to just do it as a loaner program, some some of our partners do it like that. Like they use it as a loaner program only, and they collect back the devices and keep it at the center to use for like for continued use. But most of the time, I would recommend like let the learners to
Let
keep
them,
it for there.
yeah, I mean, then there is no sense of this training if they are not
Yep.
using it anyway.
Yep. It's a good incentive.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. So, would you like to share this presentation and all this detail with email, like the
Yeah,
recording?
so afterwards, after today, I'm going to share the presentation, and because we're doing the recording, also, some people who cannot attend for now, we will be sharing that recording.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura Kate has another question in the chat. Is it necessary to follow a given curriculum, or is general tech support allowed?
That's a good question. General tech support, it may be hard to convince if you see that general tech support would take 8 hours per learner. So I would say for most of the program that we're involved in, we do have like more a structured curriculum. But it doesn't have to be like a basic skills. It can be more advanced skills, or it can be like we have done workshops type of program. So each workshop has a specific topics, but as long as the training that participant attend 8 hours of those workshops, then it's still okay. It can also be a combination, maybe 4 hours of a structured class and then 4 hours of tech support. But maybe I can ask CPUC, my contact at CPUC, if 8 hours of tech support would it be okay with our curriculum? Because it's not typical, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. Maybe they would say yes.
Great. Another question from Vicky Machado. If digitalLIFT does the training, what expenses can we claim in addition to the device cost?
So if digitalLIFT is doing the training, all the training cost should be reimbursable, unless you want to say 15% of that. Unless you want to say like use 15% of that is as a match. So I'll give you an example. We partner with like a housing, affordable housing location. So they bring in digitalLIFT as a partner to train their residents. And they put us in as the trainer, and we have a cost of that. 100% of that is reimbursable. And then they use the 15% of their staff members, because that is funded by their existing operating budget, or they have another funding source to fund their staff. The staff is responsible for outreach, like doing outreach. So the outreach cost is already funded, so they're not getting reimbursed for that. If you have devices, donation from other organizations, you can use the devices as a match as well. So you can have different ways to achieve the 15% match. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, thank you.
So any more questions? I see that those are all the questions in the chat.
Okay.
Anyone else? Last call.
That's okay if you cannot think of any questions right now, but yes, if you start working on the application, you may have some questions, and feel free to reach out to us. I'm more than happy to get on a call with you. To go over any questions you may have. And CPUC actually is pretty responsive to our questions as well. So like the one that I cannot answer just now about the 8 hours tech support, I'm going to reach out to them and ask them and share back with the group here. So anytime they pretty responsive with our questions. Okay, so if not, no more questions, we're going to end the call for now, but I'll follow up with the presentation and then the recording as well. Thank you so much for all the partners to join us today. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.